I'll never forget August 24th, 2006, because I think everyone here in this room knows what Sebonack is and what it's going to be and where its place is going to be in the game of golf. And Michael Pascucci, thank you for inviting me long ago, really almost a year ago, to be here on this special day. And we just had 18 holes of golf watching Tom Doak and Jack Nicklaus go around the course. Mike hit a lot of shots too, and it was very special. My first chance to see this place, and this is like the predicament I found myself in on Sunday. I run out of superlatives really fast. I don't know what to say. It's so over the top, great and special. And these two great gentlemen have built something that is going to be here for centuries to come. People will be talking about Sebonack long past our lifetimes. Listen, to officially start this press conference, though, I think this is a good touch. Two gentlemen here in the New York area who are as big a followers of the game of golf, care deeply about it, passionate about it, as well as many other things that are even bigger than golf. And I'm talking about the God Squad is here to officially get things started at our press conference. Please welcome Rabbi Mark Ellman, Monsignor Tom Hartman.
Did you get your membership yet?
No.
Ready to convert? Michael told us he had a dream. He had a vision. He wanted to do something. And to see what has happened, to take this land and convert it into something that's absolutely beautiful. I don't know what happened to you, but when I golfed it the other day, the first 6 holes I was worried about golf. And then I was just looking at the beauty of the place. And then you get into your soul a little bit. And you ask yourself, do you spend enough time just thinking or meditating in that? Michael, you've done an extraordinary job. You not only know the sport. I was saying to Michael last night, I don't think he could have done this 10 years ago. It was like God kept putting different pieces of business and golf experience, put them all together, and it created this. And you did it. And even when the going was rough, when the zoning was tough, when people said you can't spend that amount of money and not get the guarantee of the passes, you stayed with it. And the reason why, I believe, is when we first met, Mike told me about a pin that he wore, Try God. And he decided that the happiest people he had ever met in life were people who tried to do something for others. And he embarked on a course of action that included charity as much as he loved business. And he did it effectively. And when he told us that he was going to do this project, which seemed almost impossible, I believe it wasn't Michael speaking, it was God speaking through him. In the midst of it, there's only one person that was needed for him to make sure he'd reach the goal. And that was his silent partner, but his true partner, Jocelyn. She deserves a round of applause.
Let us pray. Dear God, in your name and in your presence, we say please and thank you for this extraordinary place and for these extraordinary people. And let us say amen. God bless you all.
Before we hear from Jack and Tom, we're going to begin. And why keep him waiting? When you have the Pope on the stage, I say get him up here as fast as you can. Michael Pascucci, the visionary, the man with the big dream. Sebonack, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Tom and Mark are two good friends. You never know what's going to come out of Mark's mouth. But today we got a religious lesson from Tom. We got a art lesson from Mark, and a few things. But these are two good friends, and I've never opened up any of my ventures without these two guys. So there's something. They've got something going for me. So thank you very much. And how special is it to have a day like today and to have the voice of golf, Jim Nantz, change his schedule. I mean, no matter what you were doing, if you have Jim Nance come and speak and say a few words and become part of your event, there's nothing more, adds more class than what you did. Jim, thank you very much. I know you changed the schedule. I appreciate it. I would say, Pat asked me to just reflect back, Pat Norton, and said, you know, just a couple of words of looking back, what's it look like? It looks like this was a lot of trouble for one little stinking ball, that big. I mean, chase one little ball around, this was a lot. This project was bigger than I ever thought. In '01, in 5 years, I would say I had over 350 meetings, personal meetings and involvements, in order to get this project going. This was a risk-reward project. The reason this property is still here, was still here roughly for 55 years, and it was sold and didn't close, and it was the zoning risk. It wasn't zoned for what people would really want to do with it. So when we went in and we did this, we took the risk. And we tried to manage the risk, and initially to manage that risk, we put together a team. And I was Wayne Bruin, who's here, Wayne, and Tom Toomey, who's not here, Richard Matthews, I don't know if Richard's here, but also Bob Grover and Jim Garahan on the environmental side. We also had, we went right in and worked with the environmental community. We had the same concerns they did, and I would have to say Dick Amper of Pine Barren Society, Bob DeLuca, the Group for the South Fork, and Neil Lewis of the Neighborhood Network gave us valuable advice on how we could work together to keep everybody happy and get this project done in a reasonable period of time because of my age. So I want to thank them for that. We had a special piece of property, and we didn't want to waste it. It was one canvas. We didn't want to paint on it and ruin it. So we managed that risk. How do we do that? We got Jack Nicklaus, with his extraordinary golf experience and design experience, together with Tom Doak, with his unique talents in the architectural world, and put them together with their teams of Jim Leip and Chris Rule with Jack, and Jim Urbina with Tom. And let me tell you, these fellows worked hard, and they brought their A game. They really were into this, everybody, all the time, in order to get the best they could out of this. And we had with them Garrett Boddington and his whole crew. Garrett's been here for 4 years, working almost 7 days a week, and just to actually construct this golf course without contractors and just do it on our own. Garrett and Mark Hissey, who's been a project manager, been involved with everything, tremendous detail, bringing all these pieces together. And that's how we managed that risk of trying to get the golf course done. We also, as Tom mentioned, my wife, who's seen me take on these projects that look easy, because I've never done them before, and then they become real hard, so she's got to put up with me for those, all those years. And my children, Chris, Ralph, my daughter Dawn, and her son-in-law Ted Barnard, they've just jumped in and tackled whatever they had to do to get it done. So I heard a lot of credit being passed around to me, but it's really not with me. And there's a lot more people to thank. And I have to say, Brad Klein, who did an extraordinary book. I mean, I had no idea how this book was going to come out, but it's unbelievable. And I thanked everyone in the book. So if I left you out. And I would say from my own personal standpoint, yeah, I'm real pleased. I mean, what you hear about this golf course is, yeah, we know it's pretty because of the location. We also say it looks like it's been here 100 years. And the strategy is fabulous. You have fun if you're a weak golfer or a strong golfer. So we got what we wanted. I can't ask for more than that. And also I would say that I met hundreds and hundreds of people. You know, when you get my age, your world starts to shrink. But by doing this project, I started to meet hundreds and hundreds of people, so my world was expanding. I mean, my body's shrinking. I thought my world would be shrinking. In fact, Jack said, you said you shrunk 3 inches too. Was that your height or your waist?
I'm working on my waist. My height is 3.
So I mean, that's just a little summary. We'll be happy to do a Q&A, but thank you for the opportunity to say a few words, and thanks everybody for coming today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Michael. We are going to have a question and answer segment here just a few minutes away, but some opening remarks first from Jack and Tom. And ladies and gentlemen, I know many of you were right there on the first tee when Jack brought out that old persimmon driver, but I still like the round of applause every time I get to say the name Jack Nicklaus. People applaud, and he deserves it. Jack Nicklaus is here.
Well, I really think we've probably said as much as we need to say all day. I think Michael said it all. I'm sure that Tom felt the same as I did. We were both very honored and privileged to be involved in the project, and I think it's turned out nicely. There's going to be something out there for everybody. There's going to be something for them to like. There's going to be something out there for everybody not to like. But that's the game of golf. So I'll leave it at that and say, Michael, thank you for including me in your project and my organization, and we feel highly honored to be here and have enjoyed it. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, this ever rising by the month star of golf architecture as well, please welcome Tom Doak.
And I have no great prepared speech either, other than it's always a privilege to work with a great piece of land. And I've been lucky to do that a few times in the last few years. On this project, not only a great piece of land, but a chance to work alongside Jack. It was a great opportunity for me. And it's been a pleasant experience all the way through. I know when we sat here 2 years ago for our groundbreaking at US Open, everyone wondered, how are they going to get along? Their styles are so different. But we found a lot of common ground because we're used to collaborating with a bunch of people that work with us, everybody from the engineers and planners that Michael mentioned down to our own teams. We just had to get our two teams together, and we work a little differently, but I think both Jack and I did the same things on this project that we always do. Came out, walked around the site, just talked about it a little more than usual. But it was a very comfortable experience. I'm really pleased with the golf course. I'm pleased to see the members walk off the course with a smile on their faces. That's when I think I've done a good job. And another great experience to be here today. I don't usually get this kind of gathering for an opening of one of my golf courses, but it's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
I'm going to turn now to this distinguished group right here in front, and that may have some questions for these gentlemen about Symbotic here on opening day. Jeff, please.
Mike, why did you give up your house?
Well, you know, we had, there's 300 acres here, and the views were so good, and we don't have a real estate play here. There's no economics in a real estate play, so to have one single house, even though I would get the benefit of sleeping there, I wouldn't want to see it because it's out of place. If you could have a golf course with no housing on it, it's a great way to have a golf course. And it also fits in this area where you don't see residences with these golf courses. So I said, people, when I'm dead, people are not going to want to see this house. And when I'm alive, I don't want to see this house. So that was the end of the house.
Yeah, Mark.
Jack, Jim said that I think we all know what Symbotic is going to be, but I think it's different for everyone. What do you think this is going to be?
Well, you know, I think time will tell that. I think you've got great history on both sides of Symbotic, and National and Shinnecock. And, you know, they're both old golf courses. They're both, to have them compete in today's market, the game is a different game. Do they compete? Yeah, they compete. But you have to do a lot to them to do so, and which is okay. They do a lot to every U.S. Open golf course when they hold a U.S. Open. But I think Symbotic is you know, fortunately or unfortunately, however you wish to look at it, fits the modern game today with an old-style look. And you know, it's not 235 yards to hit it over this bunker. It's not. It's not 60-yard wide fairways in the landing area at 300 yards. I mean, 230 yards. They're modern positions to where the golf ball goes today. And even though the old style look there and the old type way of playing golf, it's a combination of that. I think it'll do very well in today's game. Whether Michael will want to or give it a chance, I don't know. That's certainly up to Michael. But I think this golf course tomorrow could house anything you want to have here. And that's from a tournament standpoint. But I don't think Michael built this for a tournament golf. He built this for his friends and himself and his family. And that's who it's supposed to please. Yes, there's a set of back tees, but the back tees are insignificant from the amount of play that's going to be played there. The play is going to be played from, that's why I played from the back and Tom played from the other tees today, to give you a variety of what's going to happen. And it's not a back-breaking golf course from the back, but it's got plenty of length. And it's certainly a very fun golf course from the back. It's a very fun golf course from the front. The greens have certainly got a lot of spice in them. That's a mild statement, I think. And you know, I think that you know, and any golf course evolves. I mean, if you ever look at if you look at what we did at Muirfield Village, or what they've done at Augusta, or what they've done at any other golf course, you know, you adjust to what happens over time. And today, I always look at a golf course this way. But you do, there's the first process of it is creating where it's going to go, how you're going to do it. You then go on the golf course and you construct what you think should be there. Most of the time, you're going to be pretty close. But I think that any golf course that if you've taken some risk chances, and I think both Tom and I have taken some risk chances on this golf course as far as how holes will play and how they fit in here. And we certainly don't blame it on Tom, and certainly don't blame it on me. It's certainly a combination that we thought that the golf course would do certain things. And if it doesn't quite do those, Michael will want to adjust them to make them fit time. And I think that the shell of the golf course, what is here now, is a very good golf course. It's a very fun golf course. You know, we have used a modern grass. And we got A1, A4 combo, or we just got A4? Just A4. And you know, we put probably the most modern of grasses on the greens, and which is the same grasses at Augusta, which wants to be cut at for greens to be at a speed of around 11 or 12. Well, I'm not sure that these greens can handle 11 or 12, but that's the grass that's there, and Augusta couldn't handle it either. So Augusta, over time, made modifications to their greens to fit that. Now, whether we do that or whether we don't do that, or whether we just keep the golf course at 9 or 10 for the membership, we're going to play it 99% of the time anyway. So, you know, time will tell what happens. I think Sebonik has whatever future that Michael is willing to give to the golfing world. And how it will stand up, I think it'll stand up very well.
You know, Tom, I love just being out there today to see how easy the walk was. Walk off a green, the next tee is right there. Also love the way the teeing areas aren't so defined like we've kind of grown accustomed. You know, I thought that was very special. What was the thought behind all of that?
It's something very important to me to make golf courses walker friendly. I mean, not everybody can play and walk all 18 holes anymore, and I understand that, but to make them as walkable as possible is important. And when you do it well, you make trade-offs of perfect visibility for convenience of walking. And you may locate a green in a different spot just so you can get it close to the next tee. You know, a lot of architects now, when you do courses with housing developments, they just stretch them out and they don't, you know, they figure everybody's playing out of a golf cart. I try never to think that way. We've built a handful of courses that are walking only, and they've been incredibly well received. This is not walking only, but it's very walker friendly, and that's probably the most pleased I've been with the golf course, is that it's a great walk. It's just a great place to go around and have a walk and hit a few balls along the way.
Hey, Mark.
just to follow, Michael, just to follow up on Jack's response, what are your thoughts? This neighborhood has proven it can hold a major championship. Would you like to have a tournament here someday?
You know, I really haven't gotten that far to think about that. We've had a few strong players come here, some touring pros and so forth, and based on what they're doing, I think these two fellows have built a very clever golf course. It is fun for chumps, but it resists scoring for a strong player. So it has potential, but we just haven't talked about it or thought about it at this point.
Kind of like asking Tiger if he was going to be a great player when he was 2 years old.
Well, I think he had an answer to that. And I think everybody else did too.
Yeah, no doubt. Mr. Anderson.
Jack and Tom, how did you blend your various philosophies into one golf course?
I think we
If one of you had chosen it, it might not look the same, and if the other had chosen it, it might not look the same. How did you blend things?
I think we just kept talking things through. There were some holes that several guys that work for me did the bulk of the shaping work out here. And on some holes, we really did a first take on the hole, roughing in a green and the bunkers around it without having talked through stuff very much. And then Jack would come in, comment, and we'd shift things around. On other holes, we hadn't started yet, and Jack, when we'd walk through, Jack would make notes and drawings of how he'd like to see it, and we'd take a shot at that, and maybe move a bunker here a little bit or do something over here to make it, to work with the playability of it. But, whatever we built, we kept talking about it, and, it was 8 months of construction before anything was planted, so we had plenty of time to talk about those holes. And, some of them we built 3 or 4 or 5 different greens, but the great thing is working in sand, it's just like working in a big sandbox. If you don't, you shape something and you look at it, if you don't like it, you just shape it again. It takes half a day to do it. So to some people, it wouldn't be the most efficient process, but golf courses are a 3-dimensional thing, and you can only do so much in plan in 2 dimensions.
I think that, David, really most of it really centered around what Mike wanted, not what Tom and I wanted. And I think that was the guy. And I think that Mike got me in here first, and he's played a lot of my golf courses, and he went out and saw some of Tom's golf courses and liked Tom's look. And so I suppose I don't know what to say. I was born night, but not last night. And when Michael says that that's the look he likes, then I say, okay, then we got to use the look he likes. And that was what Tom's look was. So Tom's guys took the lead on how to make that look. And I think Michael likes my feeling as far as how a golf course plays. And so the combination, and I think we took more of a role of the playability of the golf course, and Tom took more of the look of the bunkering and that look. And not that both of us couldn't have done both of those things by ourselves, but I think the combination of doing it together and discussing it and going through it and building some of the greens 4 or 5 times, we turned up with a better product. And that's really what the whole objective was for Mike. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the 2 of us in here. Does that mean that both of us had to swallow a little bit of our ego and a little bit of our thing? Absolutely. That's okay. That's what we were paid to do. And we could have gone over in the corner and pouted and jumped up and down and kicked the lockers and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think that would have accomplished much. And I think we both are beyond that in life. And so we worked together to accomplish what Michael wanted. And I think we did a pretty good job of doing that. Is it a little bit more severe probably than I would normally do? Probably. Is it probably a little bit more technical than what Tom would do? Probably. So, that's okay. And I think that I think the combination is there. And as I said before, and I call this a shell. I don't mean by calling it a shell that it's nothing there. I mean, any golf course has to start somewhere. And if you have to make adjustments through time and adjustments and see how the course plays for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it might be, and you're going to get the feedback from the membership. I mean, you've heard the story. I've talked about Muirfield Village many times, where after the first year, I asked the membership, give me your favorite hole. They gave me 14 different holes. Okay, I knew I had 4 holes I had to go work on. I mean, it's the same thing. You're going to get the input from the membership. You're going to get Michael's, his family's. You're going to get everybody's input. I mean, good players, bad players, ladies, kids. You're going to get that input, and you're going to hear it enough that you're going to say, we really did a good job on that hole. That hole doesn't need anything at all. And sometimes a little controversy is good. I think that, and I think Tom uses the word mystery. Sometimes a little mystery is good. Somebody was asking me today about a shot. You can't see the second part of that landing area. It's okay. You're not going to kill anybody because you certainly see the people walking by down there, but you can't see where they land. I think that was, the 15th hole. And so, I said, you said, you like that? I said, yeah, I think that's fine. I said, you can see it or not see it. I don't think it makes any difference. I think it plays the same. So, I mean, it's a matter of letting something evolve, let time happen, let's see what it does, and, time is on your side. Maybe not as much on Michael's mind, but time's on the side of Symbotic. Okay.
David?
Kind of in that vein, both of you bringing different philosophies, design philosophies to this project. I'm curious if there are aspects, now that we look back on it, that you learned from one another that you may take on a future endeavor for either of you, just working with each other when you look into the future.
We learned a lot from each other, but the main thing I learned was to, the first 10 clients I had no interest in great players and how they were going to attack the golf course. We were building courses that were fun for people who wanted to pay $50 to go play. And I'd worked for Pete Dye growing up and learning how to do the business, and everything that Pete built was for a tournament. And he was very focused on Jack and Greg Norman and how they played. And I just sort of forgot all that for a while when I got out on my own because it wasn't part of the equation. Those players weren't coming around, and I didn't really have to worry about that too much. Now, I've got a few friends that are really good players, and if they came, I want them to have fun and have some shots that challenged them, but whether they shot 64 or 67 didn't really make any difference. When you watch golf on TV now, you start to wonder if it's even the same game that most of us play. I mean, and I was beginning to wonder if you could really build a golf course like all golf course architects talk about that has the challenge from the back tees and is still fun from the regular tees for the members. And I think this golf course works from both standpoints really well. And I think I have renewed faith that you can accomplish both if you want to. And I think that's going to help me tremendously in my future career because I have a lot more clients now that are interested in that sort of thing. And we have a better idea of how to approach that now.
I think that, I think that from my standpoint, I feel that it gave, by working with Tom, it gave me another way to do golf courses. And I think that it's kind of fun to get input from other people and experiment with their philosophies as well as your own. I've always felt like when I started out, I had 1 or 2 ways to do golf courses. Today, I probably have 15 different ways to do golf courses. Now I have 16. And I frankly, I like Tom's philosophy as it relates to some of the things we do. I was getting very bored with my greens. My greens, I felt like I had a lot of holes where I had a lot of 30 and 40-foot putts that just had a nice pitch running down. It's okay, some holes, but I sort of like the spilling water approach, and I think where it meanders its way through a green. I like that, and it's an approach that I've seen and so forth, but to watch it being done, it gives me another way to do something. We've done bunkers very similar to what Tom does. We didn't do them exactly the same way. We did them a different way. Gave me another way to do bunkers. You know, anytime that you expand your ability to be able to fit a situation and do something on a piece of ground, you better serve your client. And by having the ability now to add more ways to do something, I've learned from Tom how to do other things. And that's a great lesson for me. I enjoy that every time we do it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm doing another collaboration with Pete right now. You want to talk about a nightmare? I mean, I haven't worked for Pete for 35 years, but we'll have a ball doing it, but we're going to have fun. But I mean, it's a whole new learning experience again. And I haven't had a course in a long time that we had to have fire insurance for, but I guess we're going to probably have to have it again. But that's okay. I enjoy that. It's fun to learn. And I think we all like to learn in life, and I don't care what age you are, it's fun to learn.
First time together with Pete since Harbortown, right?
No,
Or you did some
we
others after
did
that?
about a half a dozen after Harbortown, but Harbortown probably had the most wood on it.
Let me ask you both this just real quickly, and Jack working with Tom, Tom working with Jack, and knowing this piece of land that you have here, you know it's unique. You know that you have Shinnecock and National, and they're held in such high esteem close by. Expectations are high. You come out here, you see right away that this is an extraordinary piece of real estate. Do you really, though, feel a little bit of the pressure? I know time is on the side of Sabonic, but you realize that you're really on a project that has tremendous, tremendous upside. Long down the road, this is going to be one of those possible classical courses that it'll be such a great honor to have your name on it. Do you feel that at all?
Jim, you sound more and more like a press guy every day. I mean, to me, you come out and you have fun on a golf course. That's what you're supposed to have. To me, to come out here, and we came up here a lot of times. Tom was probably here more than I was, but that's the way he operates. And it's a blast every time we were here. We're doing different things, fiddling around, and we said, God bless it, can you see what Doak did over there? We want to do it. We want to do blah, 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 blah. And we go over and we talk about it. And then Doak, I'm sure, went over and talked with Burbina and says, do you see what they want to do over there? And then they had fun. But hey, that's part of the fun of it. And it's good. And we never left the tiebreaker in. We just kept him out there talking.
Pascucci tiebreaker?
He was a tiebreaker in everything we did, but we never had one. But it was kind of fun not to have one, and it really forced Tom and I to really work together and to come to a conclusion of what we thought would work. And then, but it's Jim, I don't ever worry about the pressure of something. I mean, that to me is what I've lived for all my life. I love coming up the 18th fairway with a chance to win a golf tournament. I mean, that's what you practice for. So to be able to come out on a golf course and have the pressure of wanting to create something good, hey, that's part of it.
I was going to say the same. I mean, he's lived with that so-called pressure all his life. That's what he lives for. I didn't get those chances, and I wouldn't have made much of them if I had. But
pretty well,
instead of
played well
pressure,
for me today,
the rush,
but
though, of having this opportunity.
the opportunity is a great one, and you don't want to mess it up. But that's what you come to work every day for. And you forget about where you are, that there are two great golf courses next door, because they don't have anything to do with this piece of ground. I mean, we can only do the best we can do with this piece of ground, and that's the focus every day. And you try to do the best job you can.
How did you communicate with one another when you weren't on site?
Not much when we weren't on site. I mean, we made a point early on of saying, okay, whenever Jack is here, I'm going to be here, because we don't want to leave things hanging during construction. I mean, as the construction process goes along, you have to make decisions, and some holes have to be done so you can start putting irrigation in the ground and move on to the next step. So, every time Jack was here, we were out there walking around, riding around, making decisions about holes. But we didn't talk very much at all outside of that. We just, worked on it really closely when we worked together, and it was actually probably a good thing that, when we both go away for 3 weeks or a month in between times, we both have our own chance to think about it and, not have the other guy leaning over our shoulder. And so you come back with a fresh perspective the next time you come back.
There seemed to be a lot of discussion while you were playing today about changes to be made. Jack, you were talking about the sight lines on number 3, and there was some discussion about the trees on the side of 10 Green. How much tinkering is going to go on, and who's in charge of all that?
You can ask the gentleman on my right. He's the one who wants to tinker, but that's all right. Hey, you know, you aren't ever successful in life if you just accept something the first time around, I don't think. You want to make something better, you keep working at it. And that's Michael's choice to whatever he wants to do. Okay?
I personally hope he gives it a little time. You know, it's still a baby, and the ball still doesn't react out there quite the way it's going to react in 2 more years. So, you know, we've got plenty of time to go do whatever we need to do, but, you know, let's give it a little time first.
Yeah, that's basically what I said to Michael. I said, Michael, give it a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever you want to give it. You know, give it some time to find out what happens. He says you'll get enough response from people to find out what you want to do, if anything.
I have a question for you. How is the membership drive coming for this?
The membership is the last piece of the puzzle that we're working on, and we're very flattered that we've had a lot of interest. And we have basically we did it with, I took a page out of Jack's book that he did down in Florida at the Bears Club, took 35 founders, and they helped recommend the members. We took 10 founders, many of them here today. They're from all over the country, different ages, walks of life, and employment, and they're recommending members. So we're building a national membership with local people, so we've got a nice mix of age and diversity, and it's just beginning. But we have a lot of interest.
This is to Jack and Tom. Based on your success here, would you ever consider doing another collaborative project with each other?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why. I would say that it would have to be a situation like Michael's. But, you know, I've done collaborations. Haven't done one with Pete for 35 years, and I'm doing it again. So that doesn't say that, you know, I would hope we could do one again in 35 years, Tom. Meaning I'd like to be around in 35 years is what I'm trying to say. But, no, I wouldn't see any reason why we wouldn't, but I think you'd have to have a very special situation for that. But, no, I don't think there's any issue with that.
I agree. I mean, we've gotten along very well. Now, you know, I only get to do 2 or 3 golf courses a year, so I want to get to do some by myself too. But, you know, I don't want to make a cottage industry of doing them just with Jack. And, you know, we've had feelers about doing collaborations with other people since, just like I did a couple collaborations in Australia 2 years ago, which both turned out really good. So we're certainly open to the idea. You just wait for the right project and the client that really wants to do it.
This is a follow-up. Based upon what you know now, is there anything different about what you thought about going in to what you know now about how you reacted to each other?
I guess, you know, we're just more comfortable with each other now. I mean, going into it, we really didn't know each other very well. I knew a lot about Jack. I'd watched him play golf for 30 years. But, you know, we're more comfortable with each other. That's the biggest thing.
I agree with that.
When did you first meet him? I mean, even before this project.
You know, I met him back when I was working with Pete a long time ago, but he wouldn't remember that at all. We really had never sat down and talked until about 2.5 years ago when Michael had us sit down and talk about doing this at the Bears Club.
Yep.
Michael, what's your favorite hole?
Besides 18.
That's a good one, though.
Besides 18. No, yeah.
Don't answer that, Michael. Don't answer that, Michael. You answer all of them.
Right. I agree with him. I don't have a favorite hole at this point. I really don't.
Jimmy, I hate to.
I know Jack's got to go. Any last question? I think we're great. Michael, any last word you want to say to everyone here?
No, just thank you. And I neglected to mention the wonderful town board of the town of Southampton, which is so good to us. I see Skip Peeney, Steve Kenny, Nancy Grabowski, Linda Cabot. They're visionaries. They did the right thing. I want to thank them very much.